I think NixOS is going to be the thing that saves us. It's going to be the thing that saves the computer industry from the Docker greed. I every time I work on a team and they start using Docker, I see the environment file and I think it's all useless. Docker's useless at this point. Why are we using Docker and then having an environment variable that can completely change how the environment inside the Docker is going to be at runtime? That doesn't make any sense. That's why NixOS is so good. That's why NixOS makes sense, is because at compile time, at build time, what you get out is going to be a function of what you put in. It's not going to be, oh, I got something out and then I just change a couple things and boom. That defeats the whole purpose of the environment. So, although Docker is extremely fast and is going to the speed is unmatchable by Nix. I'm predicting I give it 2 years. Every major company is going to have Nix in-house. They're going to be using it. They're going to be heavily investing in Nix. It's going to be the needle that pops the Docker bubble. DoD is going to start having Nix images. I mean, I already see this. I see people making a Docker image of Nix. And then they just run the code inside the Docker image. Maybe that is how it's going to be. Maybe the only reason for Docker is going to be to run Nix. That would be hilarious. But I think Docker stems from a greater problem, and that is it's not declarative. It's fake declarative. It's almost declarative. You can whittle around with some Docker composes, and then you can start pretending to orchestrate. Shout out Kubernetes. You can pretend to orchestrate your nodes, but at the end of the day, it's not declarative. It's pseudo declarative at best. You're almost defining what you want your container to be. Almost. There's just a couple things that can get out of whack. People who use Docker for development environments also, I think, are missing the point, and I think they're using they're using a Docker container because the Linux machine that they're currently on is limited by its packages. What other reason would you have to use a Docker container? Maybe, oh, I boot up my development container, and then I have all the tools I need, and they are there, and it's like I never left. That's called a Nix shell. That's called a Nix. That's called a Nix shell. Just make it. You can be so much more declarative than a Docker container. If Nix is gonna do anything, which I think it's gonna do everything, but if Nix is gonna do anything, it's going to be a permanent replacement for development environments. No more Docker containers. That just doesn't make any sense in your development environment. Why are you doing that? That's so bad. Why is your development image 2 gigs? How is your development image 2 gigs? I'm not shipping. You're not going to share your development image with me. I don't want it. I think that people associate NixOS with Furries and Femboys. And that is the driving force to why people do not want to switch over to NixOS or to figure out what Nix is. They see the community and they seem a little odd, and they get turned off by it. And they say, "Oh, this can't be an actual piece of really good software. Surely it's some ploy developed by people in their basement or doing what. And I would say, look, don't judge a book by its cover. Even if the cover are furries and femboys, don't judge the book, because you're going to be missing out on one of the greatest technological innovations since Docker came out. It was Docker, no other good inventions, no other good innovations, and NixOS. Nix taking over Docker, reclaiming over the throne. E2 Brutus, or however it goes. I don't know. I didn't read Julius Caesar. What are we going to do about these people who you work with who are not going to want to switch to Nix, they're stuck in their bubble? They don't understand that version controlling your system is the most brilliant idea ever. If you could version control your system, wouldn't that be perfect for if a problem came about, right? Say you get a bug or something. You're like, oh my goodness, I wish I knew which packages I had or installed. Oh, I just don't know. I have to go through and manually look at all of them. Bro, no. Dude, come on. It's one command. You can take your entire system derivation, look at all the package inputs. You can see every single thing, every version. And then you can see the versions of the build inputs that went to go into those packages. And you can just keep going down and recursively through these derivations. And then you have the ability to do that. I mean, come on. How incredible is that? But no, people are going to be stuck inside their Docker containers. They're going to be stuck inside their development environments, and they're going to miss the point of Nix. And they're only going to use Nix as development environments, even if they do. And they're not going to see how incredible can be with Hydra, build system, the Cachix. That's so great for like companies who have their own in-house packaging cache, so they're not just, every single time they have to do their Docker builds, that they're not just going and pulling these just so much data that they're pulling. Cache it locally. Oh, Nix already provides an easy way for you to do that, like one command. Oh, that's perfect. That's awesome. I love that. I know exactly that the system I'm about to create is going to be from the inputs that I specify exactly down to the bit. That's awesome. I like that. Good feature. It makes also just like configuring your system pretty easily, because a lot of the stuff is just abstracted, and you don't have to mess around with, if you're going to do a web development, you have to mess around with Nginx, and you don't have to, it is Nginx, and you don't have to mess around with certificates. You can just use ACME. Easy, so easy. It's just a toggle. I want Nginx, enable, true. Oh, you're done. There you go. I want this specific virtual host. You just put it in line, boom, you're done. You're done. It's so easy. No more conf files. I haven't touched a conf file in literally forever. And so now all I touch is just Nix files. If I'm on a system and it doesn't have Nix and it has Ubuntu, I feel terrible when I go to install NeoVim and then version 8 of NeoVim comes up. I'm like, look, these aren't even upstreamed yet into the Debian packages. These aren't even upstreamed. Come on. Not to mention that it's so easy to make your own derivation. You don't have to say you're working on you're working on a project with a group of people, and you're kind of using this kind of just obscure, weird piece of software, and everybody has to go and they have to have these specific build inputs, and they have to, if you're on Ubuntu, you got to go make sure you have these build inputs, and then you got to go make sure the correct versions. Don't forget this little syntax that you also have to have. Make a flake, make a shell, make a package just as soon as you go into it, or as soon as you call the package. It's perfect. Every time. It's going to work. Every machine. I had a problem where I couldn't build GHDL because I was doing an FPGA course and I had a problem. I couldn't build GHDL on ARM because Asahi, by the way. And when I was trying to build GHDL, there was a problem with what was the problem? There's a problem with GNAT, with GNAT. I actually don't know how to say that one, so I will admit that one. I do not know. But there's a problem with GNAT, and it wasn't building for ARM. And so what you could do is you could just go, and then you could exchange the version of GNAT that did work with ARM, go back to GHDL, specify it, boom, you're done. Pull GHDL, build with this specific version. And I don't have to change this in the makefile or anything. I just write my one derivation, and now I can call it anywhere, and it'll always work on my ARM system. It'll always work on anybody else's ARM system. It'll just work. Then that's so beautiful. I don't have to fork this build, change the inputs, and then I don't have to go to the GitHub repo or that GitLab repo every time, pull it, and then run the make, ensure I have all the stuff. It's so bad. Nobody's shipping Docker containers to build stuff. That's such a terrible. Now this just solves it. Gone are the days of furries and femboys reaching out at this piece of at the software that is hidden from the rest of us. It's not. We're becoming disillusioned. You can see that there are actual benefits to using Nix. It's a good thing, and people don't want to admit that. Or at least the people I talk to don't want to admit that. They don't want to put in the time to learn the Nix language. And although I don't even know most of the Nix language, I can still at least make my shell. I can make the stuff that I think is beneficial to me. I can get back the gains to this stock that I'm putting so much into, because I know it's going to succeed. And I think that more people should be putting in the same stock, because it's going to succeed. It's not going to fail. It's here to stay. It's only a matter of time before people start shipping. It's only a matter of time before NixOS becomes a takeover of Kubernetes. And although that might seem a little wild to say, it's going to happen. It's going to be beautiful. But it's not just for furries and femboys. It's for us too. It's for us normal guys. It's for us just people who want to get stuff done, and people who don't want their environment to hold them back. It's not for people who are getting stuck in their system. It's not for people who are just having these problems. People will write the furries and the femboys, the double Fs will write the flakes for you to use. So you don't even have to put in the work. You can just reap their benefits. Just reap the benefit from them. Use what they are creating. And then you can just snag it. You can just steal all of their hard work, and then you can just 10x yourself to the moon. That's what you need to do. But that's just my take on why NixOS is so good, and people should switch. It's gonna change exactly how you work. Switch to NixOS. Look up Nix. It's gonna change how you work.